Okay, we are going to do animation of some couple of objects here, and I was going to try and clean these up, but it's just going to take a lot longer. I don't know if this text here is going to travel as far as it does here in Blender, and I'll show why that might fail. I'm going to measure the distance. We're going to use bones, of course, to animate these objects in Second Life. And I need to make sure that a bone doesn't move further than 5 meters away from the pelvis bone. But we can make this move 10 meters because it's only moving in one direction. So we can start its animation position at its reference pose, which we will mark as the start here, and it will travel 10 meters, so from -5 to +5. We can do that, and this cube is going to measure the distance just for testing. And we get 10 meters, so let's look at that. That looks alright. Except, well, the bone will be okay, yeah. The bone will travel. No, it won't. The bone's going to be here. The bone's going to be right there. So, will that travel across there? Let's find out. Oh, that works. We can do it. Alright. So let's do that. I'll get rid of this because we don't need it. And we'll start building our set. We'll start with a text. I think it's still a text. So we want to make that fat and then collapse it to a mesh. Convert to mesh. There we go. And we'll go from here. File, save as. So make sure this still travels. Alright, now I see a problem here with the animation. This can be problematic if it's a character and you're expecting to get that key. So I'm just going to move it over everything. A to select all the keys and just move it over to frame 1. We could have adjusted this, but I really don't like my frames on 0. And there's no reason for it, really. Alright. Now we need to attach bones to these things. Let's go grab. Actually, we'll just make some bones. Yep. We'll make bones. Add an armature. And we'll keep this one in the center. Actually, we're going to put this one all the way over here. Halfway between, and we'll call it pelvis. That way, we're traveling from -5 to +5. I haven't done this in a while, so we'll probably going to run into accidents, mistakes, and we'll correct them as we go. So just go -5, -5 there. Oh, that's the wrong. Hey, that's the wrong place. There we go. And do I need to apply the location? I have no idea. I'm going to say no for now. And I'm going to go grab myself a bone. We need 2 bones. And E for extrude. And then I right click to dismiss that because I know I want to move this cleanly on one axis. And that's connected, so I'll right click to cancel that. I don't want it connected, so I'll go with to the bone area and relations and unconnected. And I'm going to make sure this is pretty much close right there. I'll bring it in just a little just so that we don't glitch out. And I'll bring this down. We're good. Okay. And I need one more bone and I'll make it for that. And where is the right there. So instead of moving it left or right, I'll just move it up. Shift D to make another bone. And again, right click to cancel, and I'll just drag it up, and that will be the bone for this. And we should be okay. I'm going to name these just in case I need to remember them later. That's bone. No, it's not bone. It's the parent. That's what that is. And we want to unparent these. So take the parent off. Not necessary. Because hierarchy will get in the way of its independent motion. We don't want that. And we'll call this hat bone. Hat bone. And we call this text bone. And we'll just name this root. Does it make sense? And the names don't matter at all. Bento Buddy will take care of these names for us when we're going to map it. So let's just map it right now, since that's the next thing on my mind. Although usually I would do the simulation first, but let's just do that. So I'm going to go to template creator editor, visual snap mapper, and I will engage the mapper just to see what the skeleton shows up. And we're good. We can map these. I'm going to use safe bones. So I'm going to go click, shift click, and click again. And I'll say select safe bones. Oops. Well, that will probably work, but what I really want to do is show all bones and then select safe bones. And I don't know if I goofed up my selection, so I'm going to do that again. And select the safe bones and deposit, and it will only deposit the to the bones that we selected. So we only needed 3. And let's make sure. I think what I need to do in this is remove the M skull bone because it's being used to locate the name tag and height of the avatar. So I think I want to make sure I don't use the skull bone, which is an end bone, and that's why it's labeled as safe. But I don't think it actually is safe, so let's make sure it's not in there, and it is in there. So I'm gonna remove the skull bone, and I'll map this manually to something else. What will that be? Any end bone will do. Let's pick any face bone. That's a face bone. That'll map. Select that and map these bones. So we're good. Actually, why did I think I want pelvis over there, don't I? So I can, yeah, I want that as pelvis. I actually don't know. Actually, I think maybe pelvis goes here. No. Well, this is a learning curve for me. No, I don't want the pelvis to move, but I do want it to be in a specific location defined by me. So I'm going to try this. we can always undo it later. So let's unmap this bone. I think we can just remap it, unless protect is on. Is protect on? Usually is, yeah. Let me try anyway, and I will try and find the pelvis bone. I will not show all bones, so set bone view, because I know pelvis bone is located in the normal view. Easier to find. Click that and map these bones, and it worked. So the other bone that was there is unmapped. If we do show all bones, we see that we have the other two now. Alright, so we have in pelvis here. We'll try that. We'll go through some tests. Take our time here, I guess. And we set the stage. Now the map is already in the rig, so we're good. Now I want to create a constraint for this and for this. They both will hold a constraint and be targeting their respective bones. So we'll start with a hat and add a constraint to that. How do I do that? Child of constraint. I don't know that that will work, but we'll try. And we'll target the skeleton, and the bone is for the hat, and we want to set the inverse to put the hat back. So now I did this wrong. We're not putting a constraint on the hat at all. We're doing it on the bone. I'm silly. So we choose the bone, go into pose mode, and we need a pose bone constraint. That's for text. This is for hat. We add a constraint to a child of constraint to this pose bone. We target the hat, and we don't have to target a vertex group, but we are going to make a vertex group afterwards, because we'll need that to attach the bone for the inverse of what we're doing here. And okay, so now the hat moves the bone, but it's moving the entire rig. I don't know why. I thought we took away the children there. Edit. Yeah, why is it moving the entire... Oh, because I did an object constraint instead of a bone constraint, and I know that because I've done this before with the same results. Bone, 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 bone constraint here. Pick the hat, and now we set inverse. Alright, there we go. Now that one bone moves. We're all set with that. Let's do the same thing with our text bone, and we go to bone constraint, child of, pick the text. I think that's right. Is that right? Set inverse. We'll find out soon enough. Yes. Alright, and I think that's all we need. Now the bones will be animated, so I'll just retarget it like this. But we do need vertex groups. So now we do the vert groups here. We'll start with the text, edit mode, and they are not selected. And we can hit all here to select all the vertices. Select the vertex mode, A for all, and make a group over here. And we know what this is called. It's called text bone. And that targets it to the text bone. And we're not going to actually use the armature yet, but we do need one afterwards. We'll capture the animation first, then we will add the armature to the mesh objects. And this one is another group, and this one is hat bone. And we have to go into edit, select all the vertices, A, and assign. And I think I forgot to assign on the other one. I do that often. Let's do that now. Edit, all assign. That's done. Now, that didn't do anything yet. We're just preparing for later. What we are going to do, we're actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add the armature modifiers right now, because that's really the next step, but I'm going to disable them because they'll get in the way of our animation. So armature and target that armature, and then armature and target that armature. Now, just for gigs and jiggles, did it do anything? Yeah. They still move right? That can't be. They're still moving right. Nah, I must have done something wrong because this is working. They should not be. Alright, I'm just going to retarget this and see what happens. I'll leave it like that. Well, there's a surprise. That would be great if Blender worked that way. And when it didn't before, because it saved us a whole lot of work. Anyway, I'm going to use glue because this is a custom rig, obviously. And action. Ooh, something moved. Well, we don't really care. We don't really care if the objects themselves move, but I did see an object move, and since the object is pulling on the bone, it's going to interfere with our animation, so I am going to disable the armature modifiers. I'm clicking on the eyeball. Where is the eyeball? No eyeball on this one. There we go. And let's go back there and action again, and this time they didn't move. Good. So now I'm going to export this animation, and 100 frames. Why is it only on 100 frames when the animation is longer than that? Oh, because there's no animation on the actual rig that we chose. They're just being influenced. So let's determine how far this goes, and we'll say 150 frames to be rounded there. And we want to just set a safe priority, and definitely want to loop this from frame 1 to frame 150 and export that animation. And that works. Now just reset the retargeter and we'll export our mesh. Set the stage, grab the mesh. Oops, I want to enable these. I think that's important. So now shift click, and I've got them both, and I'm going to export mapped mesh because they're mapped. The non-destructive process, export mapped mesh. So I can always change the bones, change the names, and I may need to do that. There was no joints available process. No joints. Why would that be? One thing I know we didn't do is we didn't child them. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to say shift click parent, control P, and object. That didn't work. Why? It's supposed to work because using that, Blender will invert the location of. Let's try it again just to be sure. Yeah, that's not working. Oh, we still have a constraint on it. So we still have a constraint on it. So we need to go to the bone again and remove the constraint. Or actually just disable it. We don't have to remove it because we might have to come back later. Let's see if this works now. Shift click, control P, object, and that's still not working. Why is that? Alright, it could be because the rig is transformed. So I'm going to again unchild that, check the rig, and it's not transformed. So the head is. Yeah. Well, that's the problem right there, but I have to undo that. How am I going to get this done now? The hat is transformed. Well, let me save this. Okay, I did check again. My eyes are bad. This here looks like a 0 to me, but it is not. So I'm going to apply transforms to the rig. Apply location. And then the hat. When I tested this, it didn't transform. Now this is a mess. Look at that one. Holy crap. Location. Oh, maybe we'll get a better. Maybe not. Alright. We applied location. No, we applied. Did we? I don't know. Apply location. Object. Apply rotation. And we got that. Yep. No idea what's going on with that. We didn't really need to do that, I think. Let me just bring this file back in here. I didn't need to do that. That was silly. I needed to apply location to this. Then I'll test with that one. Control P and object only, and that works. I don't know what I was thinking. Control P and object, and that works. Okay, and I'm going to select these two objects. Actually, make sure the armature is working. Armature is on. Armature is on. And see if we get that error. Bento Buddy, export map to mesh. I think we will, because it wasn't really indicating what I fixed, even though I think we should fix that. No joints available for processing. See, wonder which one. Let's do one at a time and see. That one is okay, and that one is not. So let's check it. Edit. No. I'm going to hit all again. I just want to make sure I have all the vertices, and I think it's because there were no vertex groups in the mesh. Now we can check that now. And no, it's not mesh tools, it's skin tools. My eyes aren't working today. Weight tools, and we have one group, which is what we did. So now we can test export it. And there are no joints available for processing. Why would that happen? I have to think about what I'm doing here. Why would that happen? That's wrong. Okay, I had the wrong name. So select them both and export. And let's test it in Second Life. Let's go here. We'll ignore that for now. Usually that's going to be important for Animesh, but there's a bunch of transforms that I can't really handle right now on the objects because of the way they're animated through the controllers, the controls that are being used. And I'll link these. I'll turn it to Animesh. Make sure it's not sunk in the ground. Animation and my script. Animesh. Okay, so it moved over and came back. That's exactly what I was looking for. So that works for us. It went right to the beginning, so we have pelvis right here in world. That worked. I'm surprised we didn't have to edit that. So we're realizing, I hope we're realizing a 10-meter difference. Let's just test that. I know it's gonna be green, so let's go over here to green and size 10 meters, and we're good. Look at that. What do you know? It's pretty decent. Alright, well, that's how we do that, I guess.